lifetime fluid, two words that sell cars and quietly retire them early. In this video, I'll explain how electronics, turbos, and tighter tolerances make tiny failures snowball, and why extended intervals amplify the cost when they do. We'll map the manufacturer's incentives, lower first 3-year costs, fewer dealer visits, prettier ownership stats. Then I'll give you the counter plan that real owners use to push past 250,000. Shorter oil cycles, proactive transmission service, and a handful of cheap filters that prevent 4-figure repairs. If you've ever wondered why 2005 beat 2020 in longevity, this is the maintenance myth you need to break. Before we move on, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel and like the video. If 10,000-mile oil changes are so safe, why do so many dealership techs drain their own cars at 5,000? They've seen what long intervals look like when the miles stack up, and they know which parts pay the price first. Here's the quiet math. Automakers chase 3-year cost charts because that window sells leases, wins fleet bids, and keeps owner satisfaction surveys glowing. Stretch the oil interval, cut scheduled visits, and the first owner feels like maintenance is nearly free. Those same numbers show up in marketing decks and total cost calculators. But a car is not a 3-year project. Past 100,000 miles, those savings come due in ways the brochure never graphs. On one side, you've got the glossy low cost of ownership curve. On the other, the 120,000-mile invoices, sludge in the heads, timing chain stretch that triggers cam correlation codes, and turbo bearings that feel gritty from baked-on oil. The irony is, the engineering that makes modern engines efficient also makes them brutal on oil. Direct injection shoves fuel straight into the chamber, leaving raw fuel to wash down the cylinder walls on cold starts. Turbos cram heat into a tight center housing. Variable valve timing relies on tiny oil passages and control solenoids that hate varnish. And those ultra-thin 0W16 and 0W20 blends reduce pumping losses but shear faster when you hammer them in stop-and-go traffic or summer heat. Let's go hands-on. 2 identical 2018 turbo 4-cylinders. Same commute, same driver habits. Car A follows the 10,000 reminder religiously. By 90,000 miles, the oil cap shows amber varnish. Pull a cam phaser solenoid and the screen is T-brown, sticky, and slow to actuate when powered. You see startup rattle, lazy cam timing, and a slight stumble hot. Car B gets 5,000 changes with the correct spec synthetic. At 95,000 miles, valve covers off. The aluminum casting still looks bright and the solenoids snap like new on the bench. No codes, no rattle, no mystery idle. That gap lives in chemistry. Oil oxidizes as it bakes. Oxygen and heat break long oil molecules into shorter ones, thickening some fractions into varnish while thinning others under shear. Direct injected engines compound it with fuel dilution. Short trips never evaporate that fuel out of the sump, so viscosity falls, film strength drops, and bearing surfaces run closer to metal-on-metal under load. Even top-shelf synthetics can't suspend soot and fuel forever. The used oil lab reports many owners never see show fuel percentages climbing well before the dash says service due. Cold winters and 5-minute commutes push it faster. Add a weekend of towing or a few mountain passes, and you've pushed the oil past its additive life while the car's algorithm still smiles. We also shifted our culture. For years, 3,000 miles was gospel, even with conventional oil. Then came longer drains, synthetic blends, and clever maintenance monitors. The pendulum swung hard to 10,000 as standard marketing copy. The truth for modern DI turbos and high-strung 4-cylinders usually lands in the middle. 5,000 to 6,000 miles works with mixed driving. Short-trip city cars do better closer to 5. Highway-only commuters can stretch to 7 with lab checks. What matters is heat, time, and how often your use case loads the turbo and the timing set. There's another angle nobody advertises. Turbos often die young not from boost abuse, but from what happens after you park. A hot shutdown bakes oil in the center housing. That's how coked rings and sticky bearings start. One $40 habit cuts that risk. Shorter oil cycles with the right high-temp spec and a minute of gentle cruise before shutdown after a hard pull. Mechanics follow it because they've eaten enough turbo cores to know it works. So why the 10,000-mile advice while techs sneak 5,000? It flatters first-owner stats, but shorter cycles tame heat-soaked deposits, keep fuel dilution in check, and protect chains and phasers, especially on DI turbos. Now that oil is sorted, let's tackle the other forever claim that quietly ends transmissions before 150,000. If transmission fluid is lifetime, why do so many gearboxes start slipping right after 120,000 miles? That word sounds comforting, but it hides the catch. Lifetime almost always means the lifetime of the warranty window, not the lifetime of the car. Powertrain coverage is typically in the 60,000 to 100,000 mile range, sometimes a bit more, but nowhere near the 200,000 or 300,000 mile goal many owners quietly expect. So the label reduces early service costs and makes ownership charts look clean, while wear builds in the background for the second owner to discover. Run a split-screen plan. Owner A never services a sealed automatic because the manual says no routine. ATF change. Owner B changes fluid every 30,000 to 60,000 miles depending on use. Both reach 140,000 miles. Owner A starts to feel flare shifts, delayed engagement into drive, and a thump on the 3 to 4 upshift. A shop quotes a valve body or full rebuild. Owner B's car shifts clean, stays in the torque, and shows no metal on the pan magnet at the last service. The difference isn't magic, it's chemistry and heat management. Modern transmissions are tougher to keep happy. You have more gears packed tighter, thinner clutch friction material, higher line pressures to snap crisp shifts, and complex mechatronics controlling every move. Add stop-and-go traffic, towing a small trailer or a hot summer, and the fluid cooks faster. Automatic transmission fluid does more than lubricate. It carries away heat, manages friction between clutches, and keeps tiny valves in the valve body from sticking. As additives deplete, viscosity drifts, oxidation grows varnish, and shear changes how clutches bite. That's when you feel the slip. Take a real-world case from any busy shop. A 2016 8-speed comes in at 90,000 miles with harsh shifts and a slight shudder at light throttle. The dipstick isn't there because the unit is sealed, so the pan comes down. The ATF is dark, smells burnt, and the pan magnet is furry. Replace the filter and pan, refill with the correct low-viscosity ATF. Run a proper temperature-based fill procedure, and the shift quality returns. No rebuild, no $4,000 bill, just a timely service that should have happened 30,000 miles earlier. Let's tackle the favorite myth. Changing old fluid kills transmissions. What actually causes trouble is shocking a worn unit with the wrong spec fluid, blasting detergents that dislodge debris all at once, or performing a high-pressure machine flush on a box already slipping. A careful partial exchange, drop the pan, clean it, replace the filter, and refill to spec temperature, refreshes the additive package without stirring every corner. If the trans is already wounded, fresh fluid can make symptoms apparent, but it didn't cause the wear. Time and heat did. CVTs and DCTs raise the stakes. CVTs rely on very specific friction modifiers so the belt or chain grips the pulleys without chatter. The wrong fluid polishes surfaces and leads to slip, heat, and bearing noise. Many CVTs need 30,000 to 50,000 mile changes, sooner with heat or hills. Dual clutch units split tasks. Gear oil for the gears and mechatronics, and clutch fluid for the wet clutches in many designs. They prefer 30,000 to 40,000 mile intervals and exactly the OEM fluid. Get it wrong, and you change clutch engagement feel and chew up synchronizers or pump seals. Heat is the multiplier for severe service. Towing, mountain grades, city traffic, or undersized coolers all shorten the safe window, so shorten the interval. Here's the bigger pattern we've been building. Post-2015 turbo failures often trace back to extended oil intervals and hot shutdowns that bake oil in the turbo's center housing. Add lifetime neglect of cooling and PCV systems, and coked bearings follow. The counter is simple. 5,000-mile oil changes with the correct spec, a gentle cool down after hard use, and fresh PCV and air filters that keep blow-by and debris in check. With oil and lifetime myths cracked, we'll end with a simple roadmap to push modern cars past 250,000 miles without gambling. Modern cars don't die early. They're programmed to look cheap early. Your service intervals decide whether the car clears the 150,000 cliff or tumbles off it. Run 5K oil cycles with the correct spec. Service automatics every 30K to 60K, and apply shorter, stricter windows for DCTs and CVTs. Refresh PCV, air, and cabin filters, and note dates, mileage, and fluids in a simple log. Post your 200,000, 250,000, and beyond results below. What intervals worked, which parts failed, and what you'd change. Next up, we're testing dealer versus indie shop maintenance on two identical cars to see which one crosses 250,000 cleaner.